fabulous air signs. Hopefully y'all are doing a-okay over here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm wearing my PJs today. I got a superpower. I can sleep all day. What's your superpower? But anyway, sorry for that really weird side blurb there. I'm going to be doing the elementals for this week instead of doing a episode today. This week I wasn't feeling doing an episode. I wanted to go back to doing something that I used to know, something I love and enjoy and miss deeply. Wanted to get back into some tarot, so I wanted to do some elementals. I'm going to pull 3 cards of the Black Moon astrology for each sign, but I'm going to be doing only one spread for all the elementals, and how they apply will definitely go according to, you know, of course, how you resonate with the energy, as well as what your Black Moon astrology card will be. So let's get it. Hopefully y'all are doing a-okay for the first half of this year, because I'm gonna know my life flipped upside down. Not completely, but you know, it kind of feels like it can continue to spin any sort of which way if it happens to continue to allow itself. So I don't know about y'all. Let me know in the comments how y'all been holding up. All right, air signs. Okay, let's go ahead. Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. There we go. Right, we're going to be using the Fountain Tarot as the main deck, but I'm going to be also using the Rider-Waite as my clarifying deck. I swear this deck is so hard to shuffle, so stiff, and I've had this deck for almost a year now. But I love this deck so much. The silver is just so pretty. I try to preserve that bitch so much. But you know your Cosmic Quest chick can't stop talking. She's got a Gemini moon, so you guys gonna have to deal with that shit. Sorry, y'all. Geminis, you know what's up. And air signs, you get it. Shit, we all talk a lot. Shit. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what's going on. I'm going to be using the Circle of 6 spread that I created, so let's go ahead and get up in there. Alright, we have the Queen of Wands. I'm just going to show you guys here because I know this image is quite bright, but I love her. Like, she's just free flowing with the energy that's beaming out. So like, she doesn't have any real resistance to that energy. So nice. Okay, current state of being. It's the 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Coins that the card kind of goes by. Then what leads down to your breakdown, Page Swords. Interesting. Breakdown is the 2 of Pentacles. Yo. What leads to your breakthrough is Temperance. What your breakthrough actually is, Page of Coins. Ace of Coins, excuse me. And your rising card, what you rise up to be, is the 9 of Wands. Okay, interesting. We get defensive, which is so that's probably something I'm gonna have to clarify right quick. But that's all good. And your underlying energy is the Fool, taking chances, taking new leaps and bounds. I was saying earlier, my whole life has been flipped upside down. There's a lot of new beginnings, and I feel like it's a lot of new beginnings for everybody. But I feel like ultimately it's because we found a home in ourselves, right? I feel like Wands is such a big energy for the self right now. Not necessarily just speaking of external factors, but really I feel like it's emphasizing the internal. So I feel like if for a lot of you guys there may have been a move, you guys have been thinking about moving, or you guys have been creating a home, or a better relationship for yourself, or this could be that you guys have just left a relationship. You guys have actually come from a really good place. It was no real, like, I feel like you guys left it on good terms with the 4 of Wands there, and you guys are just exploring your new self, right? I feel like there's a part of you that you're relearning, but you're in a safe space because you were able to allow that kind of connection to whatever it was, if it was a connection or so forth, it ended on really good terms. It made you feel like you can dive into anything. So I really like that. So let's go ahead and look at the heart of your reading, the Queen of Wands. Freedom, man, is the name of her game. Queen of Wands is like coming in, shining like a star, right? Shining bright like a diamond, kind of like that kind of deal. I know I went into all that singing shit, but I promise that probably will happen some more. But anyway, they're like, oh shit, let me turn this off. But anyway, the Queen of Wands, to me, she is very expressive. She's very authentic. She's very natural. Like, there is literally nothing that this Queen of Wands does that is for superficiality. I mean, if you look at the lower energy of Queen of Wands, then yes, a lot of things that she will do is for attention and validation. But I always read the queens, you know, in all the suits and their highest vibration possible. I don't never go down unless it's something significant in a personal reading. But otherwise, the Queen of Wands for you guys this week is about purging, is about expression, is about feeling, being passionate, opening the doors to your sexuality, opening the doors to your personality. Like, there's layers and layers of beauty that you guys are expressing this week, or learning about yourself this week, that can be kind of bumpy. It has bumpy roads, but it's ultimately something that will allow you to feel a lot more closer and in line with yourself, like true connection with spirituality, I feel. So with spirituality, sexuality, all the things that you feel like, you know, may have been repressed in the process of the last year. So your current state right now is the Four of Pentacles. So right now, I feel like you guys, with the Fool and then the Queen of Wands, this is not you guys feeling stuck in a comfort zone necessarily. I feel like you guys are recognizing where you have held on too long, or maybe where you may have perhaps kind of created a safety net that doesn't really actually get you anywhere. I feel like this is a very significant card, air signs, that would suggest that there was something that was not producing anymore. It was nothing that was nothing was growing, nothing was being created, nothing was happening. It was just stagnant energy. So I feel like you guys are noticing, wow, my life is fucking boring. Like, my life isn't moving. It has no energy. And I feel like right now you're like, okay, let me get some energy, because I'm a person of energy. This Queen of Wands, person of energy. So I feel like you're integrating energy into your life right now. You're really adding that in there. So with the Page of Swords coming up as the lead to your breakdown, which I will get to in a second, I find it quite interesting as to why you are in your current state, or how you get to your breakdown. But let's jump to the breakdown. Let's just jump to the breakdown. I'm getting quite excited because this reading is quite interesting. Your breakdown leads to the Two of Coins. So what does that mean? It's almost like you guys are having you guys are learning to juggle things, juggle new things, like with certain responsibilities, tasks, perhaps even new relationships, new sort of commitments, ideas, trying to figure out really what you want out of everything, assessing its value. So I feel like with the Two of Coins, I ultimately feel like for a lot of you guys, it feels like where you guys are headed down is like a place of like trying to sort out what is real, what's valuable, what's worth your time and energy. Because this is a lot of decision making, but I also feel like there's not much decision making, because ultimately the choice is not. It's weird. It's not that you don't have a choice, but I kind of feel like it's more of you're choosing out of the conglomerate that you're already involved in. Because I feel like there's a lot going on. And the reason why I say there's a lot going on, because with every beginning, stuff happens. It creates, it's brought in, it's reinforced, whatever. There's a lot usually that happens. And I feel like with the Two of Pentacles, with, trying to juggle things, trying to keep your balance, and a lot of, like, if you notice, this hand is coming out of the water, it's resisting the emotion to be able to support this juggling, to support this infinite loop of pentacles, of coin. So to me, even though this depiction of the Two of Pentacles is very different than the Rider-Waite, I feel like what the Two of Pentacles is saying here is that there's a purge through emotion that you're going through to understand the real value of the things that are in your life, right? And assessing very carefully what you're doing with what you have in your life. So let's take a step back. How do we even get to the Two of Pentacles in your breakdown? Well, because of the Page of Swords. Well, the Page of Swords to me suggests that the reason why there may have been some kind of feeling of like, oh my God, there's no energy in my life. Oh my God, nothing's moving. Oh my God, there's no production. Everything's kind of boring and is stagnant. Is because of the Page of Swords. There was little information, little communication. Like, there was just like, or the communication that was present in the situation that the Four of Pentacles was presented, it was immature, or it wasn't conducive. It wasn't stimulating. It didn't really go anywhere. Like, and I feel like the Page of Swords usually can segue, right? Is a segue. It's always a segue, because the Page of Swords doesn't have all the answers. He needs to get more information. So to me, it could have been the situation with the Four of Coins is that there was not a lot of communication. It was always a lot of surface level communication, or there wasn't a lot of information at the time, right? So perhaps this is now, and like there's a new, like, because this energy has been so stagnant for so long, perhaps this Page of Swords rather, is your new thought process of, okay, let's have what's new, what's out there, what's interesting, what are my perspectives, what are my thought processes on this. Like, I think maybe you're trying to like refresh your perspectives on things that you're currently doing, like the Two of Pentacles is showing. What are you currently doing that you're having a new perspective on, that you're having a new idea about, you're having new feelings about, not necessarily like where something may not have been entertained before, you're now like thinking, what if, right? Getting more information. And I feel like that is your reasoning for leaving the nest. That's your reasoning for letting go of what's been so familiar to you for so long. It's because ultimately this brought you nothing, and and you want something. You want something, but not necessarily something that's material. You want something that has intellectual value. There's an element to this that suggests that you want some sort of intellectual value from it. So what leads down, let's go ahead and lead to your breakthrough, right? What leads to your breakthrough? Temperance. So that's what leads me to believe that there wasn't really much there's not very many decisions to make. I mean, there is, but there's not so much that you feel like I feel like there's not so much that, but so much like the balance of everything that you're doing. Like, I think you're taking up new things, seeing and figuring out how all the things work together to ultimately have a better flow, and you can feel more in sync with yourself. Because the temperance energy that's coming up in your lead to breakthrough card is temperance, which is the balancing of the self, balancing of everything around you. Continue to maintain sustained effort. So with temperance, I feel like the vibe, like what leads you to it, is like getting a better idea of how everything really works, so you can create a good flow for yourself. Because right now, it feels like right now you're starting off new. You're kind of hitting the ground hard. You're trying to juggle all the world, trying to juggle everything in your world right now. But it will get better. But with time, with patience, especially patience with temperance, with the Two of Pentacles and temperance, patience is the biggest thing I would suggest. And we have things that we want, that we're excited about, that we want to go for, but with patience and consistency, there will be true feelings of groundedness through the process of being the Fool. So, and what does being the Fool mean? Exploring, trying new things, experimenting, and expressing without expectation, limitation, expectation, limitation, or fear of the doubt, fear of doubt, like void of it completely. Like, you're just being all of you and doing what you want, pure to how you are, pure to what you want, or pure to what your emotions are communicating to you. So let's get to the breakthrough, right? With this breakthrough, through the sustained effort and balance of your situation, your life, through new things that you're taking up right now, and things that you're also discovering about yourself, I feel, you have the Ace of Pentacles, something new, but actually has some sort of substance to it. So like when I see the Ace of Pentacles, I'm thinking of investing in a house, or putting effort into creating a community. And I know it's weird, right? Community for the Page of Pentacles, but yeah, like, it takes time. Think about it. When you're trying to create an HOA, like, you have to get people together. You got to get people to meet up. You got to find the times and the schedules. But you have those meetings, and then you eventually become a really good community because you're well versed with all your neighbors. This is the kind of vibration I'm getting. And I'm not necessarily saying like the Ace of Pentacles is a new community. It could be for you if you're trying to move, like we saw with the Four of Wands. But I feel like what the Ace of Pentacles is really talking about is like there's new understanding and pursuance of different values. like, this is what we were doing here, right? Trying to figure out of all the things that we were trying to balance, what is the most valuable, and then we just kind of like aim towards the thing that's valuable. So right now we're just kind of playing with juggling balls, just trying to figure out, okay, well, this ball feels soft and fuzzy, this ball feels a little hard and firm, this one is a little like soft but doesn't have a lot of like air in it. Like, you're assessing which one of those kind of like elements, or you're trying to like in theory, right, metaphorically, you're using those balls to kind of figure out what kind of texture lifestyle you want to live. And when you do figure it out, God knows, God's not gonna be able to stop you, because you're on that path. Your direction is set for it. So, what is your rising? Your rising is the Nine of Wands. It's interesting that the rising is coming up. The Seven of Wands it's very exhausting energy. It's an energy that could talk about resistance. It could talk about defensiveness, like severe defensiveness. So that's why I want to pull a clarifier. Why is the Seven of Wands? Why is the Nine of Wands in air signs rising energy? What is that trying to say to us? To us air signs. What are you trying to say to us right now? Oh wow. Interesting. Ten of Pentacles. So like I said, Nine of Wands is that defensive. It can be defensive. But like, just a second. Like, let's look at him for a moment. Right? He's pushing away all those wands, like redirecting the line, creating a totally new path away from himself. Right? That's diversion. That's deflection. And I don't think that the Nine of Wands ever really meant that to me, because I never really got that vibe that it's a deflecting energy. But the situation is this, right? There's a lot of work to kind of angle the wands and at the tips like this to direct them in a different area, direct them in a different fashion. And so I kind of get this vibe that your rising actually would suggest that, where you may kind of end up is more protective of yourself, of what you're trying to establish, new traditions, new goals, new lifestyle maybe. Like, I feel like whatever you introduce yourself to in this kind of phase in your life this week, there's an ultimate there's an ultimate traditional clash, and I feel like you're resisting against the traditional. You're resisting against the things that people typically would be like, that's actually very inappropriate, that's not acceptable, yada yada yada. So I feel like while the confines of this sort of understanding is to be supportive, the energy that may present itself to be is suffocating and overbearing, and it could, that's what could be bringing up the Nine of Wands. At the same time, it could be that you guys are also very defensive of a relationship that you may have currently ended, or you may have, or are you looking to resolve, or perhaps you are defensive about a relationship that you're trying to pursue or grow. So it's really depending on an individual with this rising. But ultimately, what I think the essence of this message is ultimately fighting back against status quo. I straight up think that the 10th house is, the 10 of Pentacles is the 10th house. Like, it gives you the vibration of the 10th house to me. But because of the legacy, success, public fairs, like, everything is out in the open with the 10 of Pentacles. And I feel like with the 9 of Wands, it's almost like either there's resistance to make that public, from making it public, or there's resistance from or you're protective of your new home, you're protective of your new lifestyle, you're protective of what you've accumulated through your work. So I feel like you need to defend it in a way. It's interesting. So let's go ahead and get on to that the Black Moon astrology cards here. See what's going on with that. Aquarius, since your birthday is coming up, let's go ahead and hit y'all first. Aquarius got Taurus. I have nice. Okay, so I feel like with Taurus, I have, assessing what's yours. Two of Pentacles when that breakthrough came up, that totally gave me the vibration that there was a lot of assessing of what you can have, what you can't have, or, you know, what you may be trying to develop, and maybe there's certain times that something can happen and certain times that something can't, to have them be able to work in tandem together. Like, I'm feeling like there's nothing that you have that you can't have, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like with the Two of Pentacles, yes, you have to decide, you have to make a decision, but when you move to the Temperance card to get to the Ace of Pentacles, it's almost like right now the focus isn't necessarily to make a decision. And I get that vibe anyway, but I feel like the vibration isn't necessarily to make a decision. I feel like it's to just kind of go with what you have and then make the decision later with the Ace of Pentacles. Because where you're going is like trying new things, exploring your options, not necessarily limiting yourself. So if you have things that you want to do now, I say take them up and do them. If it bogs you down and it crushes you under the weight of the work, then perhaps, right, the emotional reconnection would be on whether or not something really matters. Does that really matter to do it right now? Does it matter? It doesn't matter if it has to be done now. Could you do it later? Like, it's like, or like, is this something that you may want to, you know, pursue, you know, like, as I said, a later date? But I feel like if there's a lot of things that you want to do, be careful not to overcrowd yourself. But do what you want to do, right? Figure out which ones are the most valuable to overcrowd yourself with now, versus maybe trying to crush all of that on top of you. But at the same time, I do feel like this has to do with possessions and understanding what is yours. Two of Pentacles to me doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, you're picking between two things and you have a lot of things that you want to do. I have also another theory, Aquarius. This is also figuring out exactly what is yours in relationships, as well as what is yours in your personal life. Mostly, more before anything, what is yours ultimately? Do you have a house? Do you have your own room? Do you cook your own meals? Do you do anything for yourself from yourself? And I feel like ultimately this is what the Two of Pentacles is. What is mine? What is mine? Not what I'm sharing, but what is mine? Like, what is all of mine? Not nothing I'm sharing. And I feel like right now there's a lot of figuring that out. But when you do figure it out, you're gonna go like, people need to move out the way. Gemini. You have the house of Libra, though. You have the house of Libra, seventh house, partners. So Gemini, you have Libra energy going on. So for a lot of you guys, this is having to do with relationships, interpersonal relationships as well. And it doesn't have to be romantic. It could also suggest public enemies, because the seventh house is the house of interpersonal relationships and public enemies, right? So for a lot of you guys, I feel like you're trying to figure out what is worth entertaining yourself with, spending time with, growing the relationship with. You're just kind of like playing the game, if that makes sense. Not necessarily saying that you're trying to be a player and ruin, you know, mess around with people necessarily just because you can. It's more of like you're trying to reassess what value is for you. What is valuable in a relationship? What is valuable in a partnership? What is valuable in an intimate relationship? Like, you're redefining romance, practical relationships, and friendships, platonic relationships even, or even expanding in different versions of relationships that may not be the most popular of opinion at this time. Like, you may be exploring into those, figuring out, you know, if this is something you can do, what elements of that can you take on and move to the next thing, right? To make your ultimate Ace of Pentacles, right? Start your absolute journey to really configure and to structure a goal that you ultimately want to go for. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening there. I feel like the relationship portion of this thing is significant with the four of coins too. Y'all have been feeling bored and very stuck. Either you guys have been keeping to yourself, or you've been connected with someone that hasn't really been giving you anything, nor have you probably been giving it anything. Not saying that it's a bad thing. No, please don't think this is a judgment. This is truly just like saying there hasn't been much action going on here. So yes, Gemini, you're going to go ahead and do some research. You're going to go ahead and get some more information. You're going to recognize that there's a lot of things that are missing out of this sort of energy. And of course, right, then the juggling and the figuring out and the decision makings come in. But it's all to do, I feel like it has to do with relationships this week. Just because the seventh house has to do with relationships. So, moving on to Libra. Ooh, we have South Node. Life debts. So the South Node currently right now is in Capricorn. The North Node is in Cancer, and I believe we just had, or we're coming up to. I think we actually just had that eclipse. I always get it messed up with the dates, but I believe we have 6 total this year. I think we already had our first one. And so you're getting a lot of hits right now, especially after these major energies, Libra to Libra. Like, there's a lot of shit that you're going through right now, I'm sure, that is, like, intense, exciting, and scary all at the same time. You got the Fool, you got the Queen of Wands, you got the Four of Pentacles, you've got Two of Pentacles. There's a lot of stuff that you're entertaining now, bringing into your life, and it's enriching it, and it's filling it up with so much energy. But in that process of that energy, you're understanding yourself, and as an intimate energy, right? You're understanding yourself intimately. But you're understanding yourself intimately from purging from this Four of Pentacles, your life, life debts. I don't think that this is something that was given to you because you deserved it or karma stepped in. Karma has roles and things that honestly are not always easy to understand. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that where you're coming from is from a place where you had or you felt like you were limited to literally whatever was provided to you at your immediate facility. Now you're purging out. There's other things. There's a whole world of opportunity. So I feel like with life debts, there is this like there's a serious recognition of repressed energy. Serious recognition for repressed energy, mainly because of the Two of Pentacles. We're juggling. We're letting the ocean to just kind of go crazy in the background. We're trying to, like, it's almost like Libra. It kind of looks like, right, from how this reading looks with this life, with the South Node energy, you're recognizing how to use all the elements that make up who you are, right? Like, we characterized as robots or non-feeling or inanimate objects because we're the only sign that has a symbol that is an inanimate object, a scale. So we kind of always feel like we always kind of, like, in a way, compartmentalize all of our elements as a human being, right? Emotion, thinking, expression. So there's a lot of things that we may not necessarily put all out in the front for it because we are not necessarily lining it up together. But I have a feeling that with South Node, Capricorn, what that was kind of showing all of us as Libras right now is that there's no element that it cannot be utilized for its benefit in everything. And I know that's weird and it kind of feels inappropriate, but that's the truth, right? Every piece of you can be okay. It's perfect for every situation. And we wouldn't think that, I don't think we would ever think that, but all of ourselves is needed in everything that we do. So, of course, the merging of your emotion with the Two of Pentacles, the entertaining of energy with the Pentacles, right? The action of juggling those Pentacles, right? Just kind of, trying to keep a balance, trying to kind of get a better understanding of what needs time and energy to pursue and to grow and to actually make, significant changes. I feel like that's what's happening right now with you guys, right? You're working to mend a fragmented elements together to create a whole person. Which is why the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands is so specific to me. It's so interesting to me because it's like it speaks of something more intimate. Even though like Earth energy to me, how it's always been presented in my ways of reading has always been like materialistic and very obviously real things. But I feel like Earth has taken on a totally different undertone. It's the depth, it's the roots, it's the connection that you have with literal material, like Earth, like soil. There is a union with that, a straight union with that, and with human beings and dirt, like we're connected with that. The Bible usually talks about it, and if you guys watch my podcast, you would know. If you watch episode 1, Lilith. That episode talked about how Adam and Lilith came from clay. Like they were both made of the same material. We are I'm just gonna be straight up. There's elements of us women out here that have Eve, but let's be honest with us. Let's be honest. We are all Lilith. We are all Lilith. All of us ladies are Lilith, and all of our men are Adams. So not to say that the Adams, please don't try to just like, oh yeah, this is why men are this or this is why women are like that. No judgment. This is literally saying that we are the purest versions of ourselves. That's pretty much what I'm saying with that terminology. And I feel like when I seen this card here for Libra, and I know I'm going on a lot because I'm a Libra too, so I'm definitely sorry y'all. But I mean, this applies to everybody as well. Like, I feel like everybody's trying to become a whole, like, whole of themselves, not whole with other things attached to it, with the idea that this will make them whole. This is true wholeness, I feel. Like, Uranus isn't spinning around kicking up shit in Taurus just for the hell, for the kicks and giggles. He's doing it because we have to remember the fundamentals. We have to remember who we are. Which is why, honestly, I wanted to go and be a math teacher, because I feel like understanding the fundamentals of communication of where it comes from is math. So, but anyway, that's a totally different topic and a totally different ramble. But ultimately, I feel like for all the air signs right now, you guys are redefining what's valuable to you and ultimately rediscovering yourself, creating a new person, or understanding the new person that you accidentally jumped bodies with, if that makes sense. Like, I think something happened, you just kind of woke up one day and realized you're not in the body that you were wanting to be in, and you're ready to change shit up. So I feel like kudos for all of y'all, and I'm excited to see what happens this week for every last one of y'all air signs. But, as always, family, until next time, I'll see you guys on the other side. If you want to book a reading with me, I have my email address in the description box. My website is up still, and I'm having some small issues with the messages and stuff, but I'm working on that as best as I can. But Instantgo is also something I do. It's an application for iPhone. I don't know if they have an Android app yet, but if you want to ask me a question, get kind of a astrological look at what's going on right now, and see see what's going on in the stars from your girl Cosmo, you know where to reach me. But as always, guys, like I said before, I will see you guys on the other side. Love y'all. Take care.